Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, I'm back with another video on the NBA bubble and the NBA playoffs, and it's not a video or this is not an offering that I thought that I would be making, but I think that's something I can say for this entire weekend, and I won't go into detail about that. Um, it's been a very, very educational weekend. I saw on my smartphone that it looks like they're getting set to vote over in the Big Ten once again regarding whether or not to have some football this fall. Uh, I almost recorded a video on that last night, but it was late and I decided to just wait because I usually, the best time for me to produce my stuff and generate my stuff is in the mornings. And, the way that thing is going, there could be false reports, and things can swing this way or swing that way. So I just decided to wait. I also thought about doing a live. Um, I also thought about doing a live regarding the start of the NFL season, but then that got put on ice for numerous reasons. And what's interesting is some fans live and die with their teams, and if their team wins, they feel good, and they're willing to talk, and if their team loses, they want to shut the whole thing down and just kind of sit and brew in their loss. And the only time I could think about myself feeling that way is when Michigan loses to Ohio State, which has been a lot recently. But as a YouTube content creator, one of the things I realized is that content is content. And so if my team wins, that's content. If my team loses, that's content as well. So, and I'm a pragmatist, and so, there's always a reason to talk about something, even if it's breaking down what my team did wrong. And I did that last year after Michigan lost to Ohio State again. But this video is going to focus on the Los Angeles Clippers and their fight for their lives against the Denver Nuggets. And so before I go into last night's game, I just want to say that I know that the Laker fan is feeling his and herself right now. And on Facebook last night, they came out. Some came for me, and I was just thinking, I don't have a long-term history with the Clippers other than the fact that they used to be our Buffalo Braves. And initially, my main motivation was two of my buddies, who I'll call the Gaines brothers. My main motivation was just to have some fun with them and bust their chops a little bit, because they're diehard Laker fans, and they live and die with their sports teams. So all season, I've had fun with this thing, and I really did want to see a battle for Los Angeles and the Staples Center. And so, in the meantime, I did somewhat invest in the Clippers, and I got two Clippers beanies, and I got two Clippers t-shirts, and this entire time I've just been having fun busting Laker fans' chops. So, but I like to think that I'm remaining detached from the situation enough to not let my life just come off the rails if they end up losing this series to the Denver Nuggets, which, looking at how things have gone, is very, very likely tomorrow night. So Game 6, I was flipping between the Buffalo Bills and the Clippers versus Nuggets Game 6, and wound up spending more time watching the Clippers and the Nuggets because the Bills had that game under control. But I was very much hoping that the Clippers would seal the deal. And when they went up 3-1 over the Nuggets, I said, you know what? Based upon history, based upon trends, there's no way the Nuggets can win 3 straight games, or they're going to have to win 3 straight games in order to pull this thing off, which is highly unlikely. But now we stand upon the precipice. I think that's the right word. We're standing upon the precipice of the Nuggets winning 3 straight games and knocking the Clippers out and preventing the all Los Angeles Western Conference final that I've been hoping for all season. And it's disappointing, but I've got to give credit to the Nuggets. They have a lot of firepower. They're the younger team, and they are going punch for punch with the Clippers, and giving the Clippers the business. So as I was watching yesterday's game, a couple of things stood out to me. Particularly as I'm looking at the box score and as I'm looking at the quarters, and I'll probably put this on screen during this for this video. There were 2 games within that game. If you look at the scoring in the first half, the Clippers won the first quarter 34-26, and then they won the second quarter 29-21. And so for that entire first half, I knew the Nuggets could come back, but I was looking at that first half and saying, okay, they've got this game under control. All they have to do is just hold on throughout the second half, and they can eliminate the Nuggets. Now, going back to Game 5 and the earlier games, we know that, or I knew that wasn't a foregone conclusion. And I knew that there was the potential for the Nuggets to come back. And so something is happening in these games in the second half. So if you look at the second half, the Nuggets scored 30 points in the third quarter, and the Clippers scored 16 points in the third quarter. So they doubled the Clippers' points. And then if you look at the fourth quarter, the Nuggets scored 34 points, and the Clippers scored 19 points. So they basically doubled them up again. So again, there were 2 games played within that one game. And it was, I'm watching that game and I'm wondering in the second half, okay, what's happening to the Clippers? So I think let's start with defense first, because at least in the old NBA, and I think common basketball wisdom is that championships are won on defense. Denver exploded in that second half, particularly Nikola Jokic, the Joker. He once again, he's a versatile big man. He was once again able to step behind the 3-point line and punish the Clippers. And then Jamal Murray was able to make timely baskets. And then some of the other Clippers were able to comfortably spot up behind it. Some of the other Nuggets were able to comfortably spot up behind the 3-point line, roll up the seams of the basketball and comfortably hoist those shots up. And there was one particular play where the Nuggets came down. It might have been on transition, and I don't remember which player that was, but this guy had all the time in the world to set his feet, roll the ball up, and hoist that shot up. And the Clippers just kind of stood there and watched. And I'm thinking, okay, is someone going to go and guard that guy? So there's a breakdown on defense somewhere, and I know that with that many shooters, it's got to be hard to cover all of those shooters, especially when Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic and then Michael Porter Jr. Once all these guys get rolling, I'm sure that's difficult. But I don't understand how Doc Rivers is allowing, and he's coaching, he's not out there playing the game, but I don't understand how they're allowing Jokic to set up outside the three-point line and spot up and comfortably shoot these shots. There's got to be a player in his face all the time. I don't understand why that's happening. So that's on the defensive side. And again, the further you go in postseason play, coaches have to make adjustments. Coaches have to make those chess moves, which can help decide the series in some instances. Now, on offense, the Clippers in that second half, they looked lost. And typically, when you have a star player like a Kawhi Leonard and also a Paul George, typically you want some sort of decisiveness on offense. You want to make the defense adjust. You want to give one of your guys to put pressure on that defense and make them adjust so that the other players can start to get off. But what I saw from the Clippers was a lot of indecision. I saw a lot of, and Kawhi could be, maybe he's not used to having players collapse on him like that. Maybe he's not used to having another number one play alongside him like that, even though it should be a good thing. Last year he played alongside Pascal Siakam up in Toronto. Now he has PG-13, Paul George, who arguably is a number one alpha dog himself. So there could be an imbalance there. But there was a basket, or should I say there was a situation where Montrezl Harrell had the ball close to the basket and he decided to pass it out. Now, one of the commentators said that was the right play. But I think that, there's a such thing as too many three-pointers and too many long distance shots or long range shots. And I think at some point you got to get those baskets, those down low baskets, so you can get to the free throw line and cause contact and make players like Jokic, put them in foul trouble. So there's a lot of indecision on offense. And so you almost don't know what the Clippers are trying to do, or you don't know what they were trying to do in that second half. And that was frustrating for me, rooting for them. So I don't know how they're going to solve that. They had that first half won, and then the floodgates opened up in the second half. And someone said something, it might have been Jeff Van Gundy, towards the end of the game, or maybe even in the post game, about being a front runner. And my high school basketball coach, Ken Jones, used to say, don't be a front runner. And that means, during the stretches of these games, the personality and the intestinal fortitude of these teams will get tested. And so teams have to figure out how to either keep the game close or battle back when they start to fall behind. And as that game went on in the second half, I was waiting for the Clippers to battle back, and I was hoping that they would, but they seemed to hit a slump where they weren't going to come back and where they weren't going to make that jump and deliver that knockout punch to the Nuggets. So it looks like there's something psychological there as well. They might not have the mental makeup to be able to keep these games close and to be able to knock out and deliver the final blow to a formidable opponent. The Clippers might, in fact, have a glass jaw. And I was listening to another content creator on YouTube last night about something else, and he said that adversity doesn't build character, it reveals character. So that might be something that's happening as well. So I'm going to run over the scoring totals, and then I'm going to stop this video. So the Clippers, they got 25 points from Kawhi Leonard, 33 points from Paul George. Lou Williams scored 14, and JaMychal Green scored 11. Patrick Beverley only scored 2. Ivica, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ivica Zubac, he only scored 2. So against a team like Denver, 4 players in double figures is not going to cut it because Denver's getting so much more production. So looking at the Nuggets scoring totals, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, he scored 34. And those are 34 back-breaking points. Those are 34 points that are loosening up the defense so that the other players can get off. Gary Harris scored 16. Jamal Murray scored 21. Michael Porter Jr. scored 13. And Monte Morris scored 10. So they just got more scoring all across the board. Their top 2 guys got off. And again, many of Nikola Jokic's baskets, they're back-breaking baskets. And he made some difficult shots. Some just hoisting them up and just as the shot clock was going down, and even when he was getting fouled, just they looked like Hail Marys or prayers. So Clippers, you got 1 game left. Doc Rivers, can you coach your team out of this? Can you get their psyches back up? Can you draw up a game plan that's going to allow them to end tomorrow night's game with the higher point total? Now, I'm going to end this by saying that Doc Rivers, his ability to coach has been under question for some time now. He had that one NBA championship with the Boston Celtics where he had Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, and they got back to the finals against the Lakers, and they almost won that series. But since he had that big 3, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce, he really hasn't done much. And that team got steadily worse. You know, there's attrition, players leave for whatever reason. Ray Allen left. That team got older. But so there is a question about how good a coach Doc Rivers is right now. And this is going to be a huge stain on his record if the Clippers get eliminated tomorrow night. But in any case, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've been rooting for the Clippers. I wanted to see an all LA series, but as I said on Facebook last night, I'm a pragmatist and I'm separated enough from the games that I want to give nice, objective, and practical coverage and analysis. So again, please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.